There's a reason some pieces of wartime equipment never truly disappeared. They were simply too well made to replace. Among them, one stands out not as a weapon, but as a quiet force behind entire military operations, the German-designed jerry can. This wasn't just a fuel container. It was a breakthrough in engineering that solved problems armies had struggled with for decades: leaks, fragility, inefficiency, and waste. And here's the part most people overlook: modern fuel containers, despite all our technology, still struggle to match what this 1940s design perfected. During World War II, mobility was everything. Tanks, trucks and aircraft relied on a steady, reliable flow of fuel across brutal terrain. A weak container meant lost fuel, delayed missions, and sometimes defeat. The jerry can changed that equation completely. Even today, original wartime cans are still in use, still holding fuel, still functioning, while many modern plastic alternatives crack, warp, or fail within a few years. So what made this design so durable, so efficient, and so far ahead of its time? And more importantly, what lessons can you actually apply today? The jerry can was engineered for survival, not convenience. The original jerry can was developed by German engineers in the late 1930s, and every detail had a purpose. Unlike earlier fuel cans, which were often round and prone to rolling or denting, this design was rectangular, making it easy to stack tightly in vehicles. That alone increased transport efficiency dramatically. But the real genius was in the construction. The can was made from pressed steel with a distinctive X-shaped embossing on the sides. That wasn't decoration, it added structural strength, allowing the can to expand and contract without cracking under pressure or temperature changes. Modern plastic containers simply don't have that kind of resilience. So, then there's the triple handle system. Most folks, assume it's just there to make carrying easier, but actually it allowed two people to carry a full can comfortably, or for multiple empty cans to be passed quickly down a line. In those high-pressure wartime logistics, that small detail honestly saved time and effort on a massive scale. Leak-proof design and built-in airflow solved some really critical fuel problems. One of the biggest issues with early fuel containers was, spillage. Every drop of fuel lost in wartime really mattered. The jerry can sorted this out with a camlock lid and a rubber gasket that created an airtight seal. Unlike screw caps, which could loosen over time, this system stayed secure even under rough handling. Inside the can, there's a small air pocket that allowed fuel to pour smoothly without all that glugging. This meant faster refueling and, less waste. Modern containers often require awkward tilting or vents that can fail or leak. But the jerry can handled all of this with a simple, durable design. If you've ever struggled to pour fuel cleanly from a modern plastic can, you're dealing with a problem that was already solved over 80 years ago. Why do modern gear struggle to match this level of durability? Today's fuel containers are mostly made from plastic. They're lighter and, cheaper to produce, but they come with some trade-offs. Plastic degrades over time, especially when it's exposed to sunlight or, say, fluctuating temperatures. It becomes brittle, cracks or even warps, sometimes without any warning at all. There are also regulatory changes that have honestly complicated modern designs. Safety spouts and emission controls have added parts that often fail or, frankly, just frustrate users. In trying to meet modern standards, manufacturers have sacrificed the simplicity that made the jerry can so reliable. Steel jerry cans, on the other hand, can last for decades with, well, minimal maintenance. They resist physical damage, protect fuel from contamination, and, maintain their integrity in extreme conditions. That's exactly why you'll still find them in use in remote areas, military operations, and among serious survivalists. So, how can you apply this wartime design in practical, everyday use? If you're interested in self-reliance or emergency preparedness, the jerry can is more than just a historical artifact. It's actually a practical tool. Start by sourcing a high-quality steel jerry can, preferably one that follows the original design specifications. Definitely avoid cheap imitations with poor seals or thin metal. Once you have one, dedicate it to a specific use: fuel, water, or even emergency supplies. For fuel storage, always keep the can in a cool, shaded area to prevent pressure buildup. Check the gasket periodically and replace it if it shows signs of wear. When pouring, use a proper spout attachment designed for jerry cans to maintain the original efficiency of the design. For water storage, thoroughly clean the interior before use and label the can clearly. The durability of the steel makes it ideal for long-term storage, especially in environments where plastic might fail. You can also integrate jerry cans into a broader preparedness system. Store multiple cans in a secure, organized way, ensuring you always have a reserve of essential liquids. And rotate contents periodically to maintain freshness. The jerry can represent a mindset we've largely forgotten. What makes the jerry can truly remarkable isn't just its durability, it's the philosophy behind it. It was designed in a time when failure wasn't an option. Every detail was tested against real-world conditions, not just theoretical use. Modern products are often designed for convenience, cost, and short-term use. The jerry can was designed for longevity, efficiency, and survival. That's a fundamental difference. For those interested in history, it's a reminder of how necessity drives innovation. For those interested in preparedness, it's a lesson in choosing tools that are built to last, not just to sell. This piece of World War II engineering still has lessons worth using today. The jerry can didn't just outlast the war, it outlasted the mindset that created it. And that's why it still matters. If you found this deep dive useful, subscribe for more content that uncovers forgotten wartime innovations and practical survival knowledge. Share this with someone who values tools that actually stand the test of time.